Hey, genius. I want you to ask yourself, have you convinced yourself yet that there's a genius inside of you? There's a divine inside of you. I'm going to talk about a request today. Have you convinced yourself that the real you is already whole? The real you cannot be sick. The real you cannot be in lack. So, this request is, I'm just going to summarize it. I've been trying to stay present rather than think about the future or the past, but it seems even more than before, I've been thinking about the worst case scenarios, and then I try to figure out how those scenarios are going to affect me, and so on. And essentially, you go down the rabbit hole. You see, life has been getting easier and easier, right? For the world. Now, that sounds a little crazy because most of you guys have lived in such a modern era, or born in such a modern era, that you have no idea how everybody in the world was struggling. 95% of the people in the world were living in poverty just 100 years ago. Extreme poverty. And then the modern systems came in, and that poverty went down from 95 to 5. And now it is down to like 2. There's 2% extreme poverty in the world now. Pretty amazing, isn't it? So when we get comfortable in life, or we're born in comfort, right? Your parents never had to struggle for food, right? Sure, they had to work hard for food, but they never not fed you, right? How many of us can say that our parents genuinely could not feed us and said, you guys are going to have to just tie your knot on your stomach and go to sleep, and we'll see if we can feed you tomorrow. So now that's a good thing, but that's a good thing that the world's been getting better. But what happens automatically is the systems inside of you, the basic 3 animalistic primitive parts of you, become very confident, overconfident. You know, that's why societies that become very wealthy, very safe, very prosperous, it starts to eat itself, like the Romans, Babylonians. And now we're watching the Western world start to eat itself. Why? Because life is too easy. Compared to 100 years ago, it's too easy. Sure, people are still struggling. Sure, there are people out there having 2, 3 jobs and they're struggling, but guess what? They're still driving with an air-conditioned car. They still go home and they're safe in their house. The fridge is still full of food. They're still overweight. Life is still at least comfortable enough that they're still fat. 70% of America anyway, the Western world. So it starts to eat itself, but why? We're seeing a macro manifestation of this happening. But it starts at the individual level. Imagine life gets so comfortable that the people's sexual lust, they try to run after it too much, which can ruin your life very easily. And then spiritually, when you give yourself over and over to different people, it hurts you spiritually. It's not good for your energetic fields. It's not good for your energy centers. It's not good for the future realities that you're trying to collapse from wave into particle. And then there's this other part of the ego that has a lot of time. So imagine you were to watch news all the time, and your ego now has so much data to play with, to scare you, and it's bringing all these thoughts out. And because you have time and comfort, you latch onto those, the worst case scenarios, the worst case scenarios, the worst case scenarios, and you hurt yourself with it over and over again, to a point where now this is all you continuously think about. And if you're one of those people that have 90% of the thoughts the same as yesterday, you keep taking the past and you're making it into your future. You keep repeating the same broken relationships, the same jobs, the miserable jobs that you keep having and switching, the same mistakes you keep having with friendships and lovers and family members, your financial, the way you handle your finances, the way you handle your body, the way you take care of yourself. Everything starts to fall apart, and you keep repeating that falling apart sequences. And then you wonder, and then your ego is never going to blame you. No, no, sir, no, ma'am. The ego is always going to blame somebody else. Lucky you, right? So, why do I say all this? What was this rant all about? I say this because what I teach here is you trying to use most of your brain, all of your brain at once. You know, when people go rock climbing up the wall, up a giant mountain, with no rope, no safety, and if it doesn't work out, they just die. And I'm using an extreme example because people that use ropes are also having the same benefits. When they go up, they don't even remember the whole climb. They blank out, they go into this extreme coherence of their entire brain. They go into this extreme flow where they're using everything in their body and everything in their mind. Everything is activated. All of the lust and the sexual energies and the ego and guilt and shame, all of those bottom three energy centers, everything from there is moving up, and it is helping this person stay focused at the divine level. When people do extreme sports like that, they do it because it's very meditative. It's a very deep meditation. And what I teach is that you can do that sitting on a chair. In fact, you can go even further. And you can create and choose things. Rather than stay in that blissful state, which they do, yes, they love it. That's why they keep doing it. So, or a mother that picks up the car and takes the child from under it. She wasn't thinking. All of that fear, guilt, sexual desires, everything was just shut off completely. And she got into that state where it wasn't even her doing that. She doesn't even remember doing that. Because the higher self, divine, flew right through her and saved that child for using her body, sure. But what I'm telling you with these two examples is that we have so much stored capacity that we have never tapped into, that I am asking you, begging you to unlock and just look at it, experience it. You'll be shocked. I will talk to many people, thousands of people in Mexico in 3 weeks. And maybe I'll bring some of them on a video and I'll show you guys. I'll tell you stories after stories of what I hear. I've already mentioned a couple stories from last time I met all these advanced meditators. There's so much unlocked in you that when that mother went to save her child, It was the divine her that used everything that she had to do something otherwise men couldn't even do, most of them. But in men in that position, in that divine state of being nothing yet everything, where you can just pick it up and save your child. And I'm asking you, don't allow tragedies in your life to bring that out of you. Do it open yourself up from the state of bliss and get out of the way of yourself. That's what I mean when I say you don't need to be in love to feel love. You don't need to be healed to feel whole. You don't need $1 million in your account to feel worthy or abundant. When you close your eyes, you know you can be anybody you want. You can be anyone you want. You can be anywhere you want. Why can't you be in the future self's body? Why can't you be with the future self? Be the future self. Merge with the future self. Your future self, when you do that, it'll be so easy for you to elevate yourself completely out of the bottom three primitive existence of fear, guilt, shame, sexual lust. When you do these good meditations, the sexual desires sort of just disappear. Yes, when you do it afterwards with your wife, of course, you can still do it, but that constant desire with high testosterone men, when they can't stop thinking about it, that goes away. You're in more control because you're now the divine you. So when you can't stop thinking about the past, and you can't stop thinking about the future, that's because you are not just watching the worst case scenario. You told me you start to break them down. What does that mean? Every time you have a thought of something bad happening to you, you immediately grab onto it and you start dissecting it and you start unfolding it and you start to figure out, oh, so what is the worst case scenario? Have you not watched my videos where I talk about that you're not good enough to do that? Or use the word change out loud? I say the word change out loud when I see when something comes to me that is undesired, something that I don't want in my future. Because I could be unfolding the worst case scenario, or I could be unfolding the best case scenario. If I can feel fear, why wouldn't I feel wholeness instead? And every time you do that, every time you bring your body back, bring your mind back to the present moment, every time you sit down for meditation and you're not used to sitting down for 2 hours, your body's going to get very uncomfortable. It's going to fight. And it's an internal fight that you must win. What is the fight? It's between you, your divine self, versus the program. Your body has been conditioned. And if you are 35 years old, it's even a bigger struggle. But you could be in 20s and you will have the same level of struggle. But every time you bring yourself back, the body's going to be uncomfortable. When I say you have to cross the river with me, the river is not a comfortable place to be. It is the discomfort part. When you cross the river and you go to the other side, that's where you want to be. That's where the enlightenment is waiting for you. The mystical experiences are waiting for you. Out-of-body experiences are waiting for you. Lucid dreams are waiting for you. Maybe in the next video, I'm going to break down different phases of crossing the river, and we'll talk about it with some examples to figure out how that will work. All right. Can you guys get comfortable and close your eyes with me for a few minutes? Eyes closed. Take a deep breath. Can you become aware of the energy in empty space around your head? Pay attention to the energy, the empty space around your head. Can you expand your awareness of the energy in the empty space around you? Now, can you pay attention to the space that your heart lives in your chest? Can you take your awareness to your heart and the space around your heart? Keep your awareness in that space. Where your attention goes, energy flows. Wake your heart up. Allow it to bloom. Stay there. Come back to your heart if anything distracts you. Now, can you expand your awareness so you can pay attention to your heart and your brain at the same time? Be gentle. Don't let it frustrate you. It will get easier. Be kind to your heart and your brain. Pay attention to it with a heart and intention full of kindness and love. Synchronize their energy. Can you imagine that every time your heart beats, it sends out the signal of love in every direction, all around, like a sphere of love just expanding in every direction, blessing every cell in your body. Every time it beats, you feel it. You should physically be able to feel it. Not your attention and awareness muscles will get stronger over time. Imagine your heart beats and it sends out a sphere of beautiful light full of love in every direction, blessing every cell, body, moving through, blessing your field in your aura, cleansing your aura. Allow your brain to feel that love everywhere in your body. Now take a deep breath again. Come back. Come back. Open your eyes when you're ready. We were just attempting to bless two of our energy centers and at the same time help them with some cleansing of our field, filling our field with love. One thing I do throughout the day, and I'll end the video here, it's getting too long, I imagine this beautiful love light beam coming from the top, blessing my 8 energy center, then 7. I keep it at 7 for a long time, but sometimes I'll allow it to go right through 7, right through 6, right through 5, and into the 4. Bless my heart with that pure love coming from quantum. Sometimes I'll do it without my shoes on. I'm grounding myself on the grass, and I have an intention of that quantum love coming all the way to my heart and the grounding energy from earth going up to my heart. And I am creating a union of polarity, bringing in the yin and yang using my heart intentionally, combining the energy of the cosmos and earth, and using the chest, using my heart as the magnet to do it, to bring it all together. Try it. It will change everything. It will change your life. It will allow the higher self to flow through you. It will allow the divine you to take over and bring things to you that you want. You'll still be the one doing a lot of things. You'll become busy, but everything you do will be in such a beautiful flow that you will not even believe that you're the one doing it. You will be dancing through day. People will get angry and you will be blessing them from your heart. You will randomly start crying because so much love will just shoot out of you. You will feel so much energy, so much love out of nowhere that you're going to want to just scream, I love you, to the universe, to the world. You'll be blessing strangers. And when that happens, there's this glow that most people can feel and see. When you enter the room, the energy of the room will change. People will be attracted to you, and they wouldn't be able to figure out why. Men, women, children, because of the energy. They're attracted to something in you. They can't figure it out, especially the sleepwalkers. And the spiritual people will identify you straight away that are on this path. They'll be able to see right through you. They'll know who you are, who you have become. Become a blessing for the world. Let's wake people up. Let's bless people. Let's raise the energy of the earth and the people within it to make the world a little bit more kind, a little bit more loving, more patient, more forgiving, more worthy, more abundant, more fearless. I love you.